Hello there, you guys. Welcome to another one. Today, I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So this is going to be a fairly long video. So if you do consider subscribe as always, and if you do consider drop your likes on the current video. So as I did say on my last video, I will be talking about summer transfer targets who Manchester United know could bring into the club in the summer as well, because we're all aware that investment is needed in the team as we all could. Reportedly, we're going to get around £200 million to spend in the summer. So we are hopeful that we can get 3 or 4 players in the summer, because we do expect it probably around 3 or 4 players, to leave in the summer as well. So obviously, we do currently want replacements. But as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has currently confirmed, he's going to have a say in this summer transfer window as well, because obviously we didn't get any players in the January transfer window, and as reports have obviously been coming out, as I said, it's been revealed that Solskjaer will be named Manchester United manager on a full-time basis, as it has confirmed. I don't think it will be officially announced until the end of the season, but this is based on his fantastic progression he has done so far as Manchester United manager. We know that we suffered our first defeat under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer tenure on Tuesday against Paris Saint-Germain. But apart from that, we've played really, really good, as I currently said. And as reportedly said, the board have made a decision that Solskjaer now is likely to get the job on a full-time basis as Manchester United manager. Obviously, we'd have to pay around an additional around £7-8 million to get him on a full-time basis, because at the moment we have obviously currently got him temporary. And we know Pochettino's been Ed Woodward's number one for a while, but now based on the fantastic progression Solskjaer's done so far, as I currently said, and obviously the board do believe he can elevate us to that high level. He can in that commanding position, as I currently said. But we are at least a year or two off the league. But the key thing is we do need signing, so we do need a strong central defender. I think we're looking for a new strong central defender, maybe a couple of fullbacks as well, and we're looking obviously for someone on that right hand side as well, because as I did say, the majority of our attack is coming from the left. Maybe we do need a centre defensive midfielder that's fast and tenacious as well. But reports have just been coming out today in relation to Ed Woodward. Reportedly, he's ready to splash out the cash on our current transfer targets in the summer. And reportedly, Ed Woodward has reportedly identified four main summer targets. He's reportedly identified 4 main summer targets, and I'll give you the names that have currently been mentioned. We know that Koulibaly is obviously our number one major priority target for the summer. Lucas Hernandez, Atletico Madrid left back, or can play as a central defender, has also been mentioned as well. Florentina's Nikola Milkovic has also been mentioned as well as one of the targets. Also, too, as I've updated you on a regular basis, Juventus's Douglas Costa has been mentioned as well. So they are the 4 targets Manchester United could go for in the summer, because Ed Woodward has identified them as our 4 main summer targets, as it has currently confirmed in the media. But reportedly, we're going to get around £200 million to spend in the summer, because we have spent a lot of money, since Alex Ferguson retired. We spent around £700-800 million, as we've seen players come in, we've seen players go, and obviously when Jose Mourinho was here, he spent £400 million, as I said. But we'll start at the topic of development. We know that basically Koulibaly is Manchester United's number one main priority target, as we all know. It is believed to be said in the media that reportedly Napoli want around £90 million in the summer if they are currently to let him go. But obviously Manchester United have been linked to Koulibaly, for the past couple of windows, as we all know. Of course, Manchester United were heavily linked to him last summer. Manchester United, of course, were linked to him throughout the course of the January window, because Man United had been in negotiations. Ed Woodward had been in negotiations with the Napoli officials, and in the process, Manchester United had 3 bids turned down. The recent one was a staggering £90 million, as it did currently confirm. But obviously, it's going to take a bid of around £90-100 million, to persuade Napoli, to sell him in the summer. But as reports say, it should cost Manchester United around £90 million. It's likely we are going to revive our interest in him, because obviously he's an experienced centre back, and that's obviously what we're looking for. Someone who's going to look good alongside Lindelof and Eric Bailly, and obviously Koulibaly looked fantastic, alongside Victor Lindelof and Eric Bailly, because as I did say, I think Victor Lindelof's progression's been very, very good this season. I think he's showing that determination that he wants to get forward more, get more involved. So I've been impressed with him. I think Bailly's got his potential level. His potential is very, very good. Is Eric Bailly's as well, even though he's been in and out of the team this season. But we need a strong central defender, to either play alongside Lindelof and Eric Bailly, and Koulibaly, would be fantastic indeed. And as reports are coming out, due to the racial abuse he suffered last year, this was on Boxing Day, he feels unhappy, with Napoli, and he has been there a number of years. He's 27 years of age now. He's over 6 foot. That's very, very beneficial as well. But he adapts every area of his game good. He's very, very good in the air. He's quick. He's strong. His physicality is very, very good as well. And he would be fantastic. If Manchester United were to get him in the summer, and we know he would be a major. He'd be a major signing for Manchester United. As I said, he's still got a contract with Napoli, of course, until 2023 as the player. But I do think it's more than likely Manchester United are going to revive their interest in the player in the summer. And financially, Napoli will make a huge profit, considering they only paid £7 million for him from Genk. As we all know, he actually began his youth career with Metzer, did Koulibaly. But obviously, he's our major number one target, is Koulibaly, and it will cost us in the region of around £90 million to get him on the board, as I currently said. But I am impressed with Lindelof. I do think Lindelof and Eric Bailly, are building a bond together. They're building a relationship together. They're blending in well in our central defensive area. And defensively, we have improved, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, especially in the Premier League. But as I did currently say, we do need a strong central defender there, someone who's highly experienced, and Koulibaly would be really, really good. And he'd definitely address our defensive deficiencies, as you saw Liverpool, last year, as we all currently know, last January of last year, get the sign of Virgil van Dijk for 75 million. Obviously, he's addressed their defensive deficiencies, and obviously he's the most expensive defender in world football at the moment. But we get Koulibaly, we can also make him the most expensive defender in world football as well. And obviously, I do expect Phil Jones and Chris Smalling, may go in the new season. To be quite honest with you, next season, because obviously Phil Jones has been here a number of years now. He's obviously good. He can be good when he gets 71 games, but obviously he's known for injuries. He's Phil Jones, and I was disappointed that he signed a 4-year deal with an option of a further year. To be quite honest with you, in relation to Chris Smalling, who's just recently recovered from a foot injury, he's been here 10 years. So he's been 9 years. Sorry, so he's been here. He's been one of the longest servants for Manchester United as well. Chris Smalling, but I think Chris Smalling and Phil Jones are nowhere near on the same level or same caliber as Victor Lindelof and Eric Bailly. So maybe Jones and Chris Smalling may leave in the summer, even though they've signed new deals this season, as I currently said. But there's also another player that Manchester United have showed an interest in him as well. I've actually never ever spoke about this player, to be quite honest with you. Reportedly, as I did say to you, Ed Woodward has identified 4 main summer targets. Lucas Hernandez is reportedly on Manchester United's radar as well. He's only 20. Well, he's 23 today. Actually, he was 22, but he's 23 today. Is Lucas Hernandez. I think he's uncertain about his Atletico Madrid future. Obviously, he actually began his career with Atletico Madrid. Did Lucas Hernandez? I think he began his career, made more than 75 competitive appearances. Did the player? I think so far his time with Atletico Madrid, he's won the UEFA Super Cup. He has won the Europa League with Atletico Madrid as well. But he is versatile as this player. He can play as a central defender. He can also play as a left back as well. Can this Lucas Hernandez? Reports coming out saying he could cost in the region of around £70 million. Could Lucas Hernandez? So he is very, very young in his prime. This player, because I think his release clause is around £70 million. Is Lucas Hernandez's as well. But reportedly he did say Manchester United could go for him in the summer. Lucas Hernandez. Also to Nikola Milkovic has also been mentioned as well. I think I've discussed with you about Nikola Milkovic sometime, was it last year, when Manchester United were interested in him. He's 21, I think. He's a Florentina central defender, as I currently said. I think he's valued at around 30 odd million pounds is this player as well. I think he's capable of playing on the right hand side as well, is this Nikola Milkovic, but he's also been mentioned in the media as well. So he's on the list of the 4 targets that Ed Woodward has identified for the summer. And also to Douglas Costa has been mentioned as well, and reports have been coming out according to the Daily Mail that reportedly he could be available for 53 million in the summer. Douglas Costa, obviously Douglas Costa is a winger. He's mainly a winner. He's Douglas Costa, even though when he was young in his prime he did actually operate as an attacking midfielder, Douglas Costa. But a narrative came out about this sometime last year that Manchester United had reportedly been interested in him. Man United reportedly put around a £54 million bid in, allegedly. Reportedly Juventus currently turned this down in the process, but reports have been coming out about it in the last week or so that reportedly Manchester United may consider, bringing him to Old Trafford in the summer, because Juventus, may be willing to sell him in the summer, because obviously this season he's enjoyed a difficult, campaign this season, with Juventus, Douglas Costa, because obviously, since, Juventus got Ronaldo last summer, obviously, Douglas Costa has found game time very, very difficult, and he has got good physical attributes, of course. He is 28 years of age, as I currently said, he's 28 years of age, his dribbling's good, his crossing's very, very good, as well as Douglas Costa's, as I currently said, but he's enjoyed a difficult season, so far this season, due to the arrival of Ronaldo last summer, so maybe he may be interested in, leaving Juventus in the summer, Douglas Costa, but reportedly, as I did say, Woodward's identified, 4 main, summer targets. Douglas Costa's name has also been mentioned, but reports coming out saying that reportedly Douglas Costa had reportedly liked a Twitter post linking him with a summer move to Old Trafford, but Douglas Costa, has been really, really good, throughout his playing career, as we all know. He had 5 fantastic years, with Shakhtar Donetsk. He won a lot of trophies there. He had a good 2 or 3 years or whatever it was, with Bayern Munich, won a couple of titles there. And, in his first, in his loan season, with Juventus, he was very, very good. He won the domestic double in his first season. But obviously, it was only last summer that Juventus had permanently signed him, because they paid around £36 million, to get him permanently, as I currently said. But his name has also been mentioned. Do you think he complement our team very, very well? Well, he is highly experienced. He is a winner. I think he can operate on each win. So, do you think he'd look very, very good on that right-hand side? He is, 20 years of age now. He's Douglas Costa, as I said. But reportedly, his name has also been mentioned in the media as well. Also to Felix has also been mentioned again in the media. Reportedly, if Manchester United are considering making a move for Felix in the summer, reportedly it will cost Manchester United around at least £100 million, and that is staggering amounts of money for a young 19-year-old who's just actually broke into the Benfica first team just recently. He only broke into the Benfica first team last year, did this Felix, as I said. But reports did say back in January that a few teams were interested in him. It did actually say that he's got his buyout clause is around £105 million. Is this Felix? Reportedly, he's yet to make his senior debut for Portugal, but Man United have instructed scouts, to keep a close eye out on the player. And Man United have regularly, been getting scouts, to currently watch Felix, because reportedly his performances have been good this season. He's versatile. I think he can actually play up front. He can play as a midfielder, but I think he's mainly been operating as a winger, so he's versatile as this player as well. But his buyout clause is around £105 million. It did say back in January that Liverpool had around a £61 million bid turned down for him as well. But as I did currently say, it may be ideal, for Manchester United maybe to look into the generation of getting some young, it may be ideal, of Manchester United, to get some younger generation players into the squad, because obviously, as I did say, we could see some experienced, players leaving this summer. So we may, look into getting some young players, that can grow and develop under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because as I did say, he's likely, to get the job on a full-time basis, as I currently said. But Felix has also been mentioned as well, to keep you up to date on. Jadon Sancho is another player, that's being talked about in the media. And Jadon Sancho, I do really, really like him as well. He's only 18 years of age, is Jadon Sancho. Obviously, he's English, as I currently said, as well as Jadon Sancho. He's obviously had experience of playing in the Premier League, because he had a couple of years with Manchester City, when he was actually, younger in his prime, Jadon Sancho. He never actually broke into the first team, Jadon Sancho and Man City. City actually at the time they had him to try convince him, to sign a new deal. He reportedly turned around the £30,000 a week offer down, so he ended up moving to Borussia Dortmund. He actually began his youth career with Watford. Did Jadon Sancho? As I said, I think he joined Watford at the age of 7. He was there quite a lot of years as well, was Jadon Sancho. And he had a couple of years with Man City. But I think Borussia Dortmund paid around £7-8 million to get him to Borussia Dortmund, and he's been at Borussia Dortmund a couple of years now. He was before in the reserve team, but since he's broke into the first team, he's been more irregular. Reportedly his performances have been very, very good, and I think he is mainly winning, to be quite honest with you. He's only 18 years of age. He has got a contract with Borussia Dortmund, I think, until 2022 as well. performances. I think he did win the Bundesliga Player of the Month as well. Did Jadon Sancho. But reportedly, it would cost Manchester United a staggering amounts of money, to get him to Old Trafford in the summer, if we are to go in for him. Because obviously, Borussia Dortmund will obviously not let him go cheap, as I currently said. Because as you've seen, Borussia Dortmund, have done quite a few, they have sold quite a few of their players. You saw them sell Christian Pulisic for £58 million. Obviously, he's loaned back to Borussia Dortmund, but obviously he's going to be officially joining Chelsea next season, as I said. So they sold him £58 million. Ousmane Dembele got sold for around 106 million. Was that 106 million euros or 106 million pounds? So that's a lot of money, for the young player there. As I currently said, so Borussia Dortmund are well known for doing business, as I currently said. But obviously, Borussia Dortmund will not let him go cheap. So if we are willing to pay maybe 100 million pounds, maybe we can land Jadon Sancho. And I do think maybe, do you think Jadon Sancho, would be a good addition to the Manchester United squad? Of course, he's young, because we have got a good few young players in our team. Lingard's young, Martial's young, Rashford's young. We've got Diego Dalot as a fullback who's young as well. So we have got a couple of young players in our squad as well. As I said, Rashford's young. Who else is young in our team? So we have got quite a few young players as we all currently know. But yeah, Jadon Sancho is a very, very good player. I think he's got good physical attributes. He can score goals. He can provide, as we all know. So he's been talked about in the last week or so. As I couldn't said, it did say Man United may consider, making a move for him in the summer, as it did say. Also too, our left back, also too, that got mentioned in the media about 4 or 5 days ago, as I kept you up to date on it. We know that Ryan Sessegnon, that Fulham left back, had also got mentioned as well, because obviously he's got 18 months left on his current deal with Fulham, as Ryan Sessegnon. Fulham have been in talks of trying to get him a new long-term contract, but there's been no sign of Ryan Sessegnon and he's yet signing a new long-term contract with Fulham, because obviously Fulham have got a lot of problems of their own. Obviously just got promotion to the Premier League, as I currently said, this season, as I currently said, and they've been very, very poor this season. They're sitting 19th in the league. They've got a lot of problems. Got one of the worst defensive records in the Premier League as well of Fulham. And Ryan Sessegnon's a very, very good player. He's only 18 years of age, as I currently said. He's Ryan Sessegnon. I think the recent team that were actually interested in Ryan Sessegnon was Tottenham. Reportedly, they were the latest team to be interested in Ryan Sessegnon, as it did. And I think they were interested last summer. I think it did say a year or two ago that Manchester United, were interested in Ryan Sessegnon. It did say in the media about 4 or 5 days ago that reportedly Manchester United want to bring Ryan Sessegnon in the summer to Old Trafford, and reportedly Man United could pay up to around £50 million for Ryan Sessegnon. But since Claudio Ranieri's coming, Ryan Sessegnon, to be quite fair, has found game time, quite hard, because season, for Fulham were really, really good indeed. He got awarded the Championship Player of the Year, based on his fantastic performances, last season for Fulham. And obviously he was one of their key players that got them promotion to the Premier League, as I said, Ryan Sessegnon. But he may want to leave. He can actually operate anywhere on the left-hand side. He can play as a left-back. He can play as a left winger as well. So he can actually operate anywhere on the left-hand side can Ryan Sessegnon. And obviously, Ryan Sessegnon's been at Fulham, the majority of his career. Obviously, he risen up their youth system, for 8 years. I think he joined in 2008, and I think it was 2008. He risen up their youth system for 8 years. Obviously, broke into the senior team, in 2016. Based on his, that he risen up the ranks, his progression, in the youth academy, was very, very good indeed. Ryan Sessegnon's, and he's been in the senior squad, since 2016 as well. So potentially, his name has also been mentioned as well. But obviously, we've got Luke Shaw at left back. Obviously, our first choice left back, Luke Shaw. Obviously, still quite young as well, as I did forget to mention earlier. He's still quite young. We know Luke Shaw, is known for injuries. As we all currently know, he is known for injuries, is Luke Shaw, because he's an injury-prone player. But obviously, he's our first-choice left-back, and I think, his performances have improved. So really, we don't really need Ryan Sessegnon, because I think on the left-hand side, we are okay. We've got Martial, he's looking very, very influential on that left-hand side. Luke Shaw's doing very, 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 very well at left-back, as I said. But it just said in the media that Man United have showed an interest in Ryan Sessegnon, as I currently said. But we know potentially other targets have been mentioned as well. Defensively, we know that the likes of Milan Skriniar has been mentioned. Harry Maguire's been mentioned. Who else has been mentioned? Harry Maguire, Milan Skriniar. We know Eddie Militao, there was talks about him in the January window as well. So we have been linked with a host of players, but obviously we're going to think about getting signings in the summer. Obviously, we're still, looking to, recruit a director of footballer to come in as well. That's one thing we do currently want to do. Let me just get one drink. That's one thing we do currently want to do. But in relation to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ed Woodward's praised him for the fantastic job he's done so far. Apart from the disappointment, against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, I think apart from that, it's looked very, very good. Solskjaer's brought the motivation back into the team. He's brought the confidence in the team. He's brought the fluidity back into the team. The structure of the team's right, the cohesion of the team's right. He's rejuvenated, a lot of the players as well as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I currently said. And I do think he's still the right man for Manchester United. Obviously, one negative and bad result's not going to change my opinion, as I currently said, because we all know, as I do keep saying, that Paris Saint-Germain are a good team with experienced players. Got a lot of experienced players, got some good young players in there with Paris Saint-Germain, and it's all unlikely. It's looking likely, that we are out of the Champions League now, as I currently said. So obviously our focus now is to progress on the FA Cup and finishing in the top four. And fair play to Solskjaer, because when he came in, we was 11 points behind top four, and obviously we're now in the top four for the first time, since the opening day of the season. Solskjaer still feels as though it could maybe take us a year or two, to be potentially Premier League title contenders, as he did mention, quite a few days ago in the press. So it could still maybe take us a year or two, for us to be, potentially title contenders. As he has been coming out in the media, he's laying the laws down. He basically said, if he threatens to, drop any Manchester United players that are caught sulking. He did admit in terms of PSG, they're on a different level to Manchester United, because I believe they have got a better squad, PSG. They have got a better squad, and they just basically are a better team at this moment in time, as we all currently know. And he did admit that mountains are there to be climbed, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I currently said. But he doesn't rest on his laurels. He does show that inspiration. If he sees a problem, he addresses that problem. And I think, he suits which happens in this club. His managerial style suits the club as well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I do think he knows currently what he's doing, because don't forget, he knows the club inside out. He's a legend, great player for 11 years, as I said, under Fergie, won trophies. Obviously managing the Manchester United reserve team as well and winning trophies, and watching some of these players, grow and develop, as I currently said. And obviously Solskjaer, of course, has been rotating the squad, as we all currently know. He has been rotating the squad, as I currently said. Obviously, giving everybody the chance, as he said, including the young players. He's even give the fringe players a chance as well, who've actually, failed to impress, as I currently said. But we have got, quite a few fringe players in our squad, as we all currently know as well. But for me, Solskjaer is the right man for Manchester United, as I currently said. He's brought something magical back to the club. He's a cheaper alternative, because as I did say, he'll cost us an additional £8 million, to get him on a permanent basis. Obviously, as I did say earlier on, we've paid... how much have we paid? 1.8 million. Yeah, that's 1.8 million we've paid to get him on a temporary basis. And I do believe he can get us into that commanding position, that we do want to be in. And it wasn't, down on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, against Paris Saint-Germain, because we just wasn't good enough against PSG. It was a lack of quality, lack of effort. It wasn't that fluidity that we've been seeing, especially in the Premier League. There wasn't that fluidity there. There wasn't that free-flowing attacking football, as I currently said. And as I did say, I've got, concerns, going into the Chelsea game on Monday in the FA Cup, because we know that's going to be a very, very big game for Manchester United, as we all currently know in the FA Cup. Obviously, Chelsea's home record is absolutely superior, especially against us, because obviously Manchester United haven't won at Stamford Bridge, since 2012. So we haven't won at Stamford Bridge for what, 7 years now, is it, or something like that. So we've got a really, really bad record at Stamford Bridge, as I currently said. But it's going to be a very, very difficult game, going to Chelsea, where hopefully we can get back on winning. We can we can get back to winning ways against Chelsea, and hopefully we can progress in the FA Cup, as I said, and hopefully we can get top four, as I said as well. We've obviously suffered our first defeat under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer tenure to PSG, but we've still won 10. We've drawn 1, we've lost 1, we've done really, really well away from home. We've won 6 away from home, we've won 8 in the league. Don't forget, we have scored 28 goals as well in the process. So as I did currently say, but going into the Chelsea game, we know how much of a very, very difficult game it's going to be, considering that, Martial is a major, major doubt for that game. So Martial's likely he's going to miss out, because Martial's reportedly got some kind of groin injury, because he came off just before half-time against PSG. So too did Jesse Lingard. He came off just before half-time against PSG, and Jesse Lingard has obviously, suffered some kind of hamstring injury. And I've been very, very impressed with Jesse Lingard, because obviously we know he's been mainly our first choice over Juan Mata on that right right-hand side, and I think he's still young. He's a young in his generation, he's Lingard, and I think his progression has been absolutely fantastic. But he did say, the duo, Lingard and Martial, were going to be assessed in the next couple of days, as it did explain in the media yesterday, as I did keep you up to date on. But they are two key players that are going to be out for Chelsea, and that could be a massive difference, as I currently said. So if them two are out, it's likely that maybe Sanchez will get a start, Lukaku may get a start, Juan Mata might start on the right hand side, to replace, the injured Jesse Lingard, unless he rotates it and puts Rashford or in the wide position instead of putting him centrally. I do not know, to be quite honest with you, but I'm really worried. I'm disappointed, that we've got them two injured, Jesse Lingard and Martial, because I've been very impressed, with Martial's progression as well. He's been very influential. He looks very good on that left hand side. He scores, he provides, he exposes opposition's defence as well with his pace, and he's good the way that he gets in behind, Martial. What? Yeah. All right. And his physicality, he's very good. He's Anthony Martial's, as I currently said. But reports are coming out in relation to that, saying that they are a doubt, Martial and Jesse Lingard for Chelsea for the Chelsea game as well on Monday. It is an 7:30 kickoff, as I currently said. It did say Chelsea have got a few minor injuries of their own as well. It did say Gary Cahill's got an injury or something like a minor injury. Rubus Loftus-Cheek has got a minor injury. And it also said, I think, Danny Drinkwater's got a minor injury. Obviously, they've got Marco Van Ginkel out for the season of Chelsea, as I said. But Chelsea aren't in great form, to be quite honest with you. They're playing really bad. They've been playing bad recently, recently suffering a 6-0 defeat away at Manchester City, suffering a bad 4-0 defeat at Bournemouth as well. So that they've conceded 10 goals in the last 2 away games in the league of Chelsea, as I currently said. And they have got problems of their own, as I currently said. But in terms of their home form this season, the home form hasn't been too bad this season. They've beat some big teams there. They've beat Arsenal at home this season. They've beat Manchester City at home this season as well. I think they did draw with Liverpool, as I said earlier on. Actually, Manchester United, should have beat Chelsea earlier on in the season. We was actually winning the game 2-1. I do think we conceded in the 96th minute, was it? I think it was Ross Barkley who currently got a late equaliser, if I am currently sure. But yeah, we did throw that game away. Obviously, we lost to Chelsea last season in the FA Cup final as well. It was an Eden Hazard penalty in that game as well. But we've got a really bad record at Stamford Bridge, as I currently said. Other cup ties we've played against Chelsea. We've played Chelsea on numerous occasions in the FA Cup. We played them in the 2007 FA Cup final. We lost 1-0. We played them in the 2013, was it? I can't remember, was it the 5th or 6th round, but we did draw the game 2-2. We were actually 2-0 up in that game and we threw it away. 2-0 up at half-time. I think one of the goals was from Javi Hernandez, and this was actually under the Alex Ferguson era. I think the second goal, was it from Rooney, something like that, if I can remember rightly. But we drew that game 2-2, but then Chelsea did win the replay 1-0. But as I did say last season, we did beat Chelsea at Old Trafford, by 2-1. Chelsea beat us last season as well, 1-0 in the league as well. The once beat us at Stamford Bridge, as well. It was a couple of seasons ago, by 4-0 as well. So they've got a really good, they've got a superior record at home, especially against us of Chelsea, as I currently said. But yeah, we haven't got the best of records. They did beat us in the League Cup once at Stamford Bridge as well. Was that 5-4? And that was actually a good game to watch. We actually once drew with them at Stamford Bridge 3-3 as well. I think in that game we was 3-0 down as well. So there has been some great games between Chelsea and Manchester United, over the years, as I currently said. But our record at Stamford Bridge is very bad. Didn't we go once 9 years without winning at Stamford Bridge under the Alex Ferguson era? If I can remember rightly. But as I did say, Martial and Jesse Lingard are going to be a big miss, as I currently said, because you can see the bags of pace is out of the team, when them two players are currently not in the squad, as I currently said, because I did say Juan Mata's too slow for Manchester United. He's been a very consistent player, as Juan Mata. He's, age 30 years of age now, is Juan Mata. He's been a very consistent player, since we got him, because he has been here since, 2014, as Juan Mata. So he's been here, years as Juan Mata, made over 200 appearances. As I said, Man United have been in talks, getting him a new one-year extension on his current contract. So Manchester United have been in talks in the process of that. Maybe some people may want to see him go because maybe people think he's past it now. Juan Mata. And as I did say, Alexis Sanchez just isn't fitting into the Manchester United team. As I currently said, Sanchez is very, very poor. As I currently said, he's not nowhere near the player that he currently was at Arsenal. Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, he's endured a couple of injuries this season. As Alexis Sanchez as well, he has endured a couple of injuries this season. Sanchez, but as I did say, he's lost a yard of pace. There's definitely areas of his game he does need to adapt, and when he does get more opportunities under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and as I did say, if his performances do not improve, he may leave Manchester United in the summer, because obviously we want to see the best of Sanchez, because obviously he's on over £500,000 a week, and we want to see the best of him, as I currently said. And I thought maybe his form may be rejuvenated under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but he has failed to establish himself as Alexis Sanchez. And in relation to Romelu Lukaku as well, I've been very, very unimpressed there. Well, I think his form has been slightly rejuvenated as Romelu Lukaku's, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But as I did say, a lot of Manchester United fans think he's finished now, because obviously he's very, very slow. His first touch does really, really concern me. There's Romelu Lukaku's, as I currently said, very, very slow, very static, and he's still he's a well-proven goal scorer, and well-proven goal scorer in the Premier League is Romelu Lukaku, as I currently said, because he has proven this during his time when he were at Chelsea and Everton. I think he scored 68 goals for Everton, so all-time goal scorer, for Everton, as I said, and he scored 27 goals in his first season in all competitions for Manchester United, as I said. But a lot of Manchester United fans, may feel as though now he's finished. But we know Rashford and Martial have been first choice over Lukaku and Sanchez, because obviously mainly what Rashford can offer up front, Lukaku cannot do this, as I currently said. But Rashford's performances have been very, very good overall. He's scoring goals, he's hitting form, his finishing's improving as well. Obviously being a United player, since the age of 7, and he has progressing up the ranks fantastically well as Marcus Rashford. Obviously we are hopeful, we can secure him a new long-term deal. We are hopeful of getting him this new long-term deal by May, Marcus Rashford, because his current deal ends in 2020, with an option of a further year. But I've been very, very impressed there with Marcus Rashford, and I do think he's our main number 9, and he looks very, very effective, when he's playing centrally. Rashford, his pace, his physicality is unbelievable as well. As I said, so hopefully somewhere online, we can agree a new long deal at Manchester United. And I do think we are willing to more than currently double his wages as well. So I do expect for Monday there will be some rotations added into the squad, with the injuries of Lingard and Anthony Martial. And they are two wide players that can provide service, they can score, they have the ability to attack and score goals. And obviously, bags of pace is knocked out of the team, when Martial's not on that left and when Jesse Lingard's not on that right, because Mata's too slow. Sanchez is poor for Manchester United, as I currently said, so that is worrying, as I currently said. So do you think, maybe Chelsea may be the favourites now? I think they'll be the favourites anyway, because they're at home, as I currently said. But we'll just see what happens, as I currently said. But so far, in the FA Cup, we've done really, really well in the FA Cup, to be quite fair. We progressed past Reading. It wasn't the best of performances against Reading, but we did win the game. Obviously, went with a lot of fringe players in that game. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, went with 11. That's actually never played together as 11. It was a good performance we showed against Arsenal in the 4th round as well. Lukaku was good in that game. He did get 2 assists. Sanchez surprisingly scoring in that game. Lingard scoring, Martial scoring as well. And it was a very, very good attacking performance, against Arsenal at the Emirates. And we looked very, very good on the counter-attack in that game as well. So it was a very, very good performance against Arsenal. So hopefully we can get back to winning ways against Chelsea on Monday. And we know it's going to be a very, very difficult game, as I said. But as a kid couldn't say, I'm impressed with the majority of the teams in Solskjaer's coming out. I really, really like Ander Herrera. Hopefully somewhere along the line, we can get Ander Herrera a new deal at Manchester United as well, because I think his progression's been good since he's been here, but I think he's playing a bigger part in the team. I think he's playing more regular. He's Ander Herrera since Solskjaer's coming in. I think he's good at breaking up the play, and I think he looks very, very good alongside Matic and Paul Pogba. Does Ander Herrera. So I think he's dramatically improved as well. So I've been very, very impressed with him, and obviously, we look very, very effective in that midfield when you've got Herrera, Matic, and Pogba, playing in it as well. But as I did say, we'll see what happens on Monday night. Obviously, there's reports coming out in relation, to Sarri, as I currently said, in relation to Sarri, Chelsea manager. Reports coming out saying if when it's mathematically impossible that Chelsea, can't get into the top four, and they can't qualify for the Champions League. Reports have been coming out saying that Sarri will be sacked from Chelsea. Of course, it's only his first season as Chelsea manager because he only joined last summer, and based on their recent poor run of results, Sarri reportedly is under pressure as Chelsea manager. And as I did say, Chelsea are known for sacking managers because they have sacked a lot in a short period of time, as I did mention to you. But obviously Chelsea do currently play in the Europa League tonight. I think they do play Malmo. Arsenal have obviously got Bates Borisov, and obviously both them teams obviously want to get into the top four, so they can get Champions League for next season. Or obviously one of them, obviously they do want, one of them, do want to win the Europa League, so they can get automatic Champions League qualification for next season. As I currently said, but obviously Chelsea are going for the top four this season. They're currently sitting sixth in the Premier League at the moment. They have got problems of their own because as I said on my last video, there's going to be players that are going to be leaving Chelsea in the summer more than likely. They'll be disappointed they didn't get a replacement for Cesc Fabregas in January, so they'll be planning, to get a replacement for Fabregas in the summer. Callum Hudson-Odoi is likely. He will leave Chelsea in the summer as well, probably due to lack of game time he's been getting. It's likely Bayern Munich will revive their interest in Callum Hudson-Odoi in the summer. Chelsea have tried convincing him to sign a new contract, but reportedly he's turned this down. He's been a Chelsea player since the age of 8, but due to lack of game time he's been getting, it's likely that he may leave Chelsea in the summer. But Bayern Munich put a host of bids in, for Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think 3 or 4. Chelsea turned 3 of these bids down. Bayern Munich were obviously willing to offer him the number 10 shirt, to fulfill in Germany. And obviously Callum Hudson-Odoi is only a player that wants first team football week in, week out. And Bayern Munich, but as I did say, Bayern Munich are looking to get some young players in their squad, as I currently said. Obviously, David Luiz's contract is up in the summer as well. Chelsea, I think, have been in talks of getting him a new contract extension. Gary Cahill was linked to a move away from Chelsea in January. There were talks about Willian leaving Chelsea in January as well. So Chelsea have got quite a few aging up players. They have got some good players, as I said. And in relation, to Eden Hazard, as I said, it's likely he will leave Chelsea in the summer as well. Eden Hazard. Because obviously I think he wants to make the move to Real Madrid in the summer, because in my personal opinion, I do think Eden Hazard is too good for Chelsea, to quite honest. Obviously he should now start hitting form, again, Eden Hazard. Now he's back on his favourite position on the left-hand side, because obviously now they've got Gonzalo Higuain, who fulfills at number 9. But before Higuain joined Chelsea, obviously Eden Hazard was playing in a role that's unfavoured to him. He was playing in a false number 9 position, was Hazard, as I said. But now obviously he's back on that left-hand side, and over the years he's progressing for Chelsea. His progression for Chelsea has been good. He has been at Chelsea since 2012, of course. He's won everything. He's made over 300 appearances. He's scored over 100 odd goals as well. 100 goals as well. I still think he's the third best player in the Premier League, behind Salah and Kevin De Bruyne, Eden Hazard, because he scores goals, his finishing's absolutely fantastic, he's fast as well on the ball, is Eden Hazard. And a lot of Chelsea fans, I think, are convinced he'll leave in the summer, Eden Hazard, but it will take a bid of around, I think he'll cost around £100 million, will Eden Hazard. So Real Madrid will have to pay around £100 million in the summer, because I think that's Chelsea's price tag. But I think Eden Hazard did say last summer after the World Cup that he did want to leave Chelsea. But as I did say, Chelsea tried to get him a new contract worth around £300,000 a week. His current deal does end in the summer of 2020, as I said, but it's likely that Real Madrid will go for Eden Hazard in the summer. So if he does leave in the summer, obviously Chelsea will want to find a replacement for him. And more than likely anyway, if Chelsea have got any chance of keeping Eden Hazard, Chelsea obviously have to get top 4, because obviously a player like Eden Hazard wants to be participating in Champions League football, as I said. So that's the only chance I think Chelsea have got of keeping Eden Hazard if they get the top 4 and get into the Champions League for next season as well. But I think it did say his decision has been made as Eden Hazard, as it did confirm. He's revealed that he's made a decision on his future. It didn't get publicly announced, but I do think he intends to make the move to Real Madrid in the summer, does Eden Hazard, because a lot of people do think he's too good for Chelsea, said. But as I did say, it's 7:30 Monday night. Hopefully Manchester United point of view, my point of view as well, we can get back to winning ways on Monday after suffering a bad defeat to Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. So we'll just see what happens. Anyway, the preview will be coming up for that in the next couple of days or so. So anyway, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. And the main part of this video was obviously to give you an update on some of our summer targets, for the summer, who Manchester United could go in for. Reportedly, Ed Woodward's ready to splash the cash on their targets. He's reportedly identified, 4 some main targets there as well, and I've already given you the names at the start of the video. Lucas Hernandez, Atletico Madrid's been mentioned as one of the targets. Koulibaly is obviously the #1 target. Douglas Costa's been mentioned as well, Juventus winner, and also to Nikola Milkovic, the Florentina central defender. He's capable of playing on that right hand side as well, and of course, who is only young as well. So that's mainly everything to update you on today, guys. Drop your comments, likes, below on the channel. If you do consider subscribing, as always, and take